And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode 175. And so we have ourselves a buddy here. So this is not a dead dog, I promise. That's Vizsla. Vizsla is just sitting on my shoulders. This is gonna be our hanger dog. So I started to make a video here yesterday actually, and had some issues. So I bought this base here so we can launch Triton, and I also bought this base here, Clark Airfield. I took the low loader 53 wide load up to the iron quarry, brought up our excavator that I worked on last week. Mining is going to be kind of the main focus. That's spent the last 2 weeks building some mining vehicles. Did a little bit of testing with both the front end loader and the excavator. Did a couple changes in the front end loader I'll show you. So we're going to head up to the mine here, do a little bit of transpo. And so I'll get moving on that. So I had an OBS issue with the video, and that is fixed now. So be a little bit of context missing here, but I'm going to stick my buddy up in here and hopefully stays there when I get back, because I don't want to lose my doggy. So let's go ahead and let's launch the loader. And I'm just going to drive it up. I was going to trailer it up. Trailering it up would be a little bit faster. There's some really great things with this new DLC. One thing that is very nice is the roads are very wide, and so the benefit of that is, especially for very wide and flat. So the benefit of that is when you're doing things like transportation trucking, you can actually get a really good high speed. And it actually feels pretty slow because of the width of the road. But I was going, I believe, 65 miles an hour, taking the excavator up to the Iron Mountain. And so that was really nice. Kind of driving in third person is not my forte. Let me get in first, and I'll be able to drive better. So able to go 65 miles an hour, so despite the vast distances, because we have these really wide, flat roads, it allows us to go very fast. And so that's a really cool thing. You know, if we imagine if we had, I'm just going to cut across here. This is an off-road vehicle after all. If we had, say we had really hilly terrain and vast distances, it would be pretty difficult to traverse the distances because we would have to worry about doing things like bottoming out, hitting terrain, doing a lot of curves. By having these really long, straight, flat roads and wide roads, it allows us to utilize the speed of our land vehicles. So I'm really kind of happy to have a good trucking update. You know, some people on, I think, Reddit were talking about how this is, you know, mainly a truck and train update, and that's, I would say, true to a large extent, and construction update. By having these long, flat distances, this is really an excellent playground for trucks now and for trains. And so as, you know, somebody who's a commercial truck driver and somebody who really enjoys that element of the game of actually having to truck in vehicles and move vehicles, this is really cool to me to have this, you know, be part of the DLC. And so you see these, you know, just how wide these roads are. You know, that's really cool to be able to do some stuff with. One feature that I think I could probably make it in game. You know, I'm a big fan of Farming Sim, and so one of the mods that one of the community members built for Farming Sim was called Follow Me, and there are actually a couple, and the other one was Course Play. And so Follow Me was a cool mod where let's say you had 5 vehicles and I was playing Farming Sim by myself. I could simply tell the vehicle behind me to follow me, and it would essentially follow the same path that I was making. And so I could string together 5 vehicles and have all 5 vehicles follow me to wherever I was going. And so this was really cool. The other one was Course Play, where you could essentially build a course by, you know, first you would traverse it and drive that course. Let me go back into first so I can actually not drive like a dope. And so by, you know, I'm just trying to, I'm throwing off my center of gravity here, so it's kind of trying to make sure I account for it while I'm driving. So, you know, what I was saying was you could lay the course and you'd essentially drop waypoints as you were going, and then when you you know, you would record that course, and then you could have other vehicles follow that course. And so that was really cool. So I've been kind of thinking about potentially trying to make something in game that will do that. So essentially what you would do is you'd have a vehicle, you'd have your lead vehicle dropping breadcrumbs essentially, and via radio it would report those breadcrumbs to the vehicle behind you, and then it would allow that vehicle to follow the course you're laying. And so if you think about how the characters work in game, you know, wherever you run, wherever you jump, those characters jump. So essentially you're leaving breadcrumbs for them. Is that a tunnel over there? I can't tell. I don't think so. And so I was kind of thinking of a neat system that I might build at some point where essentially I can leave breadcrumbs with the lead vehicle. So I might do something like that where essentially do an autopilot system. And so this is something that I think would be very cool with the new mining content is if you could lay breadcrumbs, essentially you know, GPS coordinates on the roads, and then send off your vehicle, and your vehicle would follow those waypoints. That would be really cool to be able to essentially have your vehicles go, and as you're mining, you could say have one of your trucks go over to where you're going to dump the ore. So these are just some thoughts that I had, you know, that might be cool. So let's go ahead, and we're getting there. It'd definitely be quicker if I trailered this. I don't know what speed I'm even going. Let me see if I plug that in. I may not have. Probably not. Often you don't even have speedos on some of the stuff. Like if you're gonna have a front end loader that is street legal, you'll have a speedo on there just because it's required by DOT in the U.S. But often, you know, if it's gonna be an off-road construction vehicle, which something this size would be, you wouldn't have a speedo on there. So I don't even think I have a speedo on there. But go ahead and traverse in this. I'm gonna be taking a lot of pictures. I often find that I don't have enough pictures of stuff, and so I like to get a bunch of pictures here. So we'll be stopping. Also, I really like this desert aesthetic. This is really cool, so I've been kind of geeking out and making some screenshots. So we are coming up here on the mine. Just over there is the mine. So despite these distances, you know, quote unquote being vast, I think if you're transpoing realistically via truck and trailer, you can actually get the time pretty low. I'm actually going to cut the corner here. You know, this is taking me a little bit longer operating with the front end loader, but I kind of want to get right into mining. And so I figured we could use this time of, you know, me traveling with the front end loader to kind of do some theory craft and kind of talk about the new DLC and my thoughts on it. And so once we get up there, you know, the plan is I'm going to at least fill the bucket of this with ore. A lot of this is going to be testing. You know, kind of my whole philosophy with career, and, you know, you know, one of the reasons I play so much career is, you know, my saying that I always say of, you know, you don't know what your build needs until you put it into career. I think that often is true. You know, you'll often see people put something on the workshop and it looks great and it functions great, and then you try to go do some career missions and you start to see some issues. And that's often because, just like with real life engineering, we will have an issue here with climbing this. So what I actually want to do is kind of do a wiggle. That just changes the grade essentially on this. And I can always drag it up with the Mac Pinnacle if need be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of see how I'm doing diagonal motion here. So if you get a really steep section, this is heavy. What you're essentially doing is when you go diagonally, my steering is just way too slow on this as well. I'm going to probably have to drag this up the mountain. But so kind of my steering is too slow on this. I need to test it. So kind of exactly what I was talking about just now was, you don't know what your build needs until you get it into a career game and you actually see what the real constraints of real life are. And so you get that in engineering a lot, where, for example, there are some tractors at work that they had a terrible whistling noise. So a brand new tractor, you know, I bet they put them in wind tunnels. You know, you had a bunch of engineers working on them, and then they went out on the road, and drivers were reporting that there was a terrible whistling noise. And so what the newer version of that tractor has is just a little piece of plastic around the window frame, and it stopped the whistling. And so the same thing happens in game here is when we get out in career, that, in my opinion, is the real world. And so by having limitations and having real world goals in career, we start to see where we're having issues with our build. So as you can see, I could traverse that. We ended up getting up no problem, but you see, okay, well maybe, you know, I need some grip, or maybe I need to just make sure I trailer this vehicle up, but it did get up, so we're good. You know, I did some testing with this where I thought I could just do the tilt of the bucket to dump the ore, but the problem is I'm going to have to tilt the bucket to scrape, and so that wasn't working. And so, you know, really putting your vehicle through its paces in career really tells you what your vehicle needs. So we're coming up here on the Mack Pinnacle and the LL53 wide load trailer. That's how I got the excavator up here. And so, you know, definitely probably would have been faster to trailer them up. Next vehicle I need to bring up at some point is my either dump truck, my trailer, or I have my new mining truck. I'd like to get the mining truck up here. I built a new trailer specifically for some of these vehicles. It's an I-beam trailer, so I'll kind of go over that as well, based off of the low loader trailer. So let's go ahead and drive up here. I'm going to take a quick pic when I get these two together. I think this is the first time I've actually seen them together, so I'm going to kind of place them here in a cool picture, and let's go ahead and take a photo. But really enjoying the mining stuff so far. This is a big DLC for me. This is something I've really been looking forward to. So we'll talk about, I have a little criticism of how the devs did this. And so instead of just criticizing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a feature request, and I'll put in a link, and if you guys agree, you guys can support it. And so that's the way you get new things in game. I think the developers are receptive, and they're trying to do the best they can to give us what we want, but we need to be vocal about it. We need to kind of have a, you know, the more transparent we can be, the easier it's going to be for them to understand what we want and need. And so what I mean by that is, by going on the official bug tracker, instead of just going on Reddit and complaining, and making a post and then having people support it by giving it that star, it tells the devs what we want. And so if they just go on Reddit, you know, they're not going to get a good notion of what people want. You really need to kind of go and talk to them, or put it in the official way, and have that be that way. So what I'm going to do is put in a feature request. Alright, so the plan here is to start doing some drilling. So my criticism here of how the devs did this. The old ore, we used to have just coal, as a physical entity that you could pick up as a physical rock that would be laying on the ground. It would last for 30 seconds. If you read the patch notes, they extended that from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. I understand why they do this. Big thing is for performance, right? If you have a bunch of, you know, chunks that you need to render, that's going to cause performance issues. The issue that I have is, I think they should have put a slider, and I think 5 minutes would be ideal. So what I want to do here is I want to drill, and I want to make a pile. Then I want to get in the front end loader, and I want to scoop the pile. And then I want to take it, and I want to dump it in a truck. So 60 seconds is a little tight for me to do that. A minute, I don't think is, or, you know, 5 minutes, I don't think is ridiculous. So if you had a slider, you know, say even up to 10 minutes, that would allow us to choose how much time we want to go ahead and pick up our chunks. And so I think that's something I wish they would do. You know, so I'm going to put in a feature request, and the feature request will be add a slider for how long the chunks exist, and allow us to go up to 10 minutes. And so if you're having performance issues because you're playing multiplayer with a bunch of people, or, you know, your PC can't handle it, or you have 10 vehicles in a small area, maybe you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to turn that down to a minute, you know, what it's currently set at. If, for example, it's me and I have a couple of vehicles and I have a good PC that can handle it, I can turn it up to 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or I might have it at 10 minutes and realize, you know what, I only need like 3 minutes. And so I think a slider would be very effective. So let me go ahead and So what I'm going to do here is the bucket is sitting here. These actually have a pretty good vacuum area, and so what I mean by vacuum area is the chunks don't need to be all that close to these hoppers for the hoppers to suck them in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the drill, and I added a funnel on here. I'm not thrilled with the way they did this, but I understand why they did it this way. And I'll probably end up building a scraper at some point, but you have the drill. It turns via torque, which I have a couple motors on there. Goes up in here, and you can attach either a duct or just, in my case, I added a funnel with an on there because I want this to just grind up the ore and leave it on the ground. So let's go ahead and do this. And let me jump in. All right, so let me make sure I can operate this. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll turn on 1, and I'm gonna start drilling. And so this is big for me. This was a very desirable feature that mining. This was something that I didn't think we would get in game for a long time, and it's here, and I'm very thrilled with this. So this is very much what I want. So as you can see, we're getting physical chunks, kind of moving them, dropping them right in front of the bucket here. I'm going to go ahead and go up, and I'm going to jump into my front end loader. I'm going to go scoop them up. And so as you can see, I can equip the ore. I can also drop the ore. I'm going to try to grab it really quick. So again, I kind of have to rush here to be able to scoop this up. And so we're vacuuming up the ore here, I hope. Okay, I'm pushing some of it. Let me back up. Oh, we're having issues here. Let me go ahead and press that. So we're just kind of working through this. So again, you really learn what you need. I don't know what this is doing. Okay. My bucket is a little glitched here. Let me fix that before the circus comes to town. Oh, nope, there it goes. Circus is coming to town. So that's a me problem with my bucket. If I can get in this dancing sucker, I can hopefully fix it. So we're already having some issues here. So apparently what I'm doing is I glitched my bucket into the arms, so I need to fix that. As you can see, I fixed it by moving that, so having some glitching. See how they're broken? So I need to fix that. Alright, this is going to cause me problems. Alright, and you know, like I've said before, I don't believe in cutting the videos to make it overly rosy. If I have an issue, I want you guys to see it. You know, it's important for people to understand what the game is really like. I don't want people to get a false assumption that, you know, there are fewer bugs than there really are. So I leave that stuff in there. So let's go ahead, and again, this is still testing phase. So let's read our hopper. Alright, so we picked up nothing on that scoop. I did some testing yesterday. I was picking things up. Let me go ahead and... So another option. Let me first flip this. So this should actually be reasonably easy, fingers crossed, to flip. We have an excavator here. So I'm going to stop the drill. And we can use our excavator. Excavators are very effective at moving themselves. And so let's go ahead and we'll enable the tracks. I added a gearbox to either electric motor. I have the brakes on. And that gave me more torque. So now, as you can see, I can rotate in place a little bit easier than before. So that was another thing I changed, was just adding gearbox for torque. All right, and so let's go ahead and go forward here. And I'm going to try to use my excavator to tip this back over. Tipping it up is probably not the best idea. Tipping it downhill probably would have been better. Let's do that. Again, just trying to figure out how to. Let's enable the tracks again. Alright, so what I mean by this, I'm going to go above it and push it downhill. I kind of like this emergent gameplay. Again, it's the reason why I do this warts and all type of video is, you know, like I said, I don't want people to think the game is less buggy than it is, and they say, oh, look, everything works on Captain's screen, but on mine, I'm having issues. I want you to see what the game's really like, you know, and, you know, the last thing I'd want is somebody get in the game and then realizing that, or thinking that, you know, I deceived them by making it look like the game was, you know, in better shape than it is, or, you know, less buggy than it is. I want you to see what this game plays like, and I want to see you to see when I'm struggling with something. I think that is better gameplay than cutting the videos, so that's why I don't cut the video here. So let's see what I can do here. So I'm going to push the stick out. I'm just sliding this down here. I don't have any anything on there to push this over with yet. Trying to see if I can't rotate this. This might be a little tough to rotate. If I have too much of a problem, we will figure another way out to rotate this. So I'm kind of just doing it in third person here. There we go. So we're close here, actually, to getting this rotated. I kind of need to, I think, get under the step. See, that's good. I have that balancing on the wheels now. So enable tracks. Take the brakes off here, and I'm gonna hit the brakes again. So I'm gonna kind of get under that staircase there, and so I'm gonna tip my drill, and then I need to enable my arm again. And so let's see. There we go. All right. So again, this is kind of the emergent gameplay that I like. You know, somebody was suggesting a winch on there. Don't need a winch when you have an excavator. So I like this sort of thing, using the tools we have to solve the problems that, you know, we have. And so that was fun to me to kind of, you know, have to think for a second and solve the problem that we have. So the scooping, it was working before. We're going to continue testing with the scooping. So what I want to do is cut this area here, and I want to try to scoop it with my bucket. I think let me actually do this too. I want to turn the environmental sounds down. The wind is just a little bit overkill here. So I think I have the bucket fixed. So I have some sort of issue where, see where the tip of the arms are? They're cutting into that bucket, I think, when I'm at certain angles, and it's causing me problems. So I'm going to have to fix that. So my diesel electric systems are working really well here. I think that's the way to go. A lot of modern construction vehicles are actually, or some modern construction vehicles go into that. I think I said the wrong number last time, but one of the Caterpillar bulldozers is diesel electric now. A lot of them are hydrostatic, essentially turning a hydraulic pump and then using a hydraulic actuator to move the vehicle or move the wheels, providing torque. I'm trying to get in there, even with some pretty heavily gripped wheels. I'm having a little bit of a sticking issue, but the brakes are sticking. So what I'm trying to do is kind of set this up. I want to set it up where I can kind of scoop it. So let's go ahead and let's go above the pile again. Up. Come on, don't hit everything, you dope. Trying not to cause massive amounts of ruckus and destruction here. All right, so I'm backing up the hill, and I'm going to sit above the pile. I'm going to kind of tilt my bucket down. Let me make sure that I also don't have the... all right, brakes are on. Let me make sure I don't have the funnel on in the front, that I'm just dropping it right out the front. Okay, mineral funnel is off now. So before, the issue I was having was with this tilt angle, it was dumping it all out, so I needed to keep it. So the goal here is I'm going to cut this area and try to scoop it. If we really have problems with this, what I can do is I can essentially let this drill head fill and then dump the funnel into the bucket. Not ideal, again, but, you know, I'm going to play with the game we have instead of the game I might want. You know, and move within the constraints of the world we have instead of complaining about it. Alright, so let's start cutting here. So there we are. As you can see, I'm making some rocks. Putting physical rocks in the world here. Okay, so there, I've broken a couple. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to jump out. I'm going to quickly try to grab it with my loader and see if I can't scoop them here. So again, I only have a minute. So again, the timing's a little bit slower than I would like. Definitely. Little bit of friction problems here as well, driving. You know, the bucket's on the ground, so I can see why. Alright, so I'm not really doing great job scooping here. You know, so as I find problems with the, you know, with what I envisioned the gameplay to be like and how it really is, I'll go back and I'll revise my my builds. You know, I still... Oh, there we go. We're having issues again. So this needs a big fix, this front end loader, as you can see. So again, I'm glad you guys are seeing this. You can see the problems with this. You know. All right, come on, tilt, please. All right, so I need to find where this is hitching, And so I'll do some extensive testing on this. And I'll try to let it unfreak itself for a little bit here. Okay, so I fixed, so it's definitely the bucket is definitely having issues here. And so let me see what I can do here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna find where it is. It's this one here, flipping out, and we take that back to the workbench. So eventually we'll get this all fixed up where it's working well, but currently we're having issues here. So I think it's right there is the problem. So let's look at it. All right, so as you can see here, this is our rotation point, and it's hitting there. So I'm going to have to redo how I rotate this. And so these should have minor collisions there. See, I can see it right there is probably where it's cutting and having problems. So, unfortunately, that's a wedge. What are you? You are... Okay, so let me keep the wedge. The wedge should have a limited collision on it. Let me do symmetry. And what I'm going to do is do a little bit of testing here. So I'm going to cut the wedge next to it and then cut this one. And then what's above it? All right, and let's see. So now, as you can see, I've kind of cut around that. So hopefully that has fewer collisions in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'll put a block back here. And then that should hopefully be able to turn. And so let's go ahead right into the continue testing. So this is less gameplay and more testing at this point. And I expected this. You know, I built I didn't finish anything that I built in the last 2 weeks because I didn't know what the game was going to be, or the new gameplay was going to be like. And, you know, like I was saying, you do not know what your vehicle is going to need until you get them out there in the world and test them. You know, it's all theory and theoretical functionality until you actually get it out there. So you can see that's our new area. So we have those cutouts. I'm going to try to do my best to get this hung up again. So kind of tilting and checking it. And so, okay, so see right there? See how the bucket is going into the arms? That's what was happening, but I had blocks there. So as it was glitching in the blocks, as you can see, that's when see how it's rotating itself? So that's when you know you have phantom physics and you have blocks interacting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the point where they stop. Okay, so right about there it stops rotating. And so that was probably our problem, was these arms were trying to go into the bucket. So let's go ahead and let's check the pivots here. And we have a rotation of 0.0725. All right, 0.0725. So let's call this back in. And let's find where my rotation points are. So I'm going directly off the seat, which isn't a great idea. So let's go ahead and, do I have anything set to... I don't think I have limitations on here, which I do need. Those go right to the seat. So let's go ahead and do a blank microcontroller. And I'm actually gonna, let's put it on the roof. And I'm gonna change its color to this color in here because I'm just gonna put it on the wall in here. All right, and so let's go ahead in here and let's make this our arm control. All right, and so we'll just make that about 3 wide to start with. And we'll put 3 nodes in. Let's go ahead and do composite input from the seat. And let's do number output to the arms. And let's do a number output to the bucket. Okay, so hopefully this should fix that problem you're having. Bucket, arms, and seat. All right, and so we want to read a couple controls. So we want to read composite number. Let's see, do I want to do that? No. What I want to do is I want to read thresholds. Yep, so let's do thresholds. This one will be 1, 1. And this one will be -1, 1. I find this is the best way to do this. This allows me to not go past the clamp and then have it continue to operate. So we're going to go like that, and then I need to read a number. And so let's see, up, down is 4. So that's my arms. So we're going to read 4. It's going to be 1, -1. Then we go into an up-down counter, which I usually have one there. There it is. Okay, so if it's 1, it goes up. If it's -1, it goes down. Then we want to clamp this. I haven't figured that out yet, so we have to go do that. But then we'll take this. I'll actually take all this. All right, and so all of this here is going to be the bucket controls. Bucket controls are going to be 3. All right, so we remember our lower limit. We have to set the increment too before I get in there. But so that was -0.0725 is going to be our negative limit. Our max is going to be 1, and then this will go to bucket. And then we're going to quickly test this. So my increment, let's just do 0.001. Now let's do that on both. 0.001. So they're going to set the speed. So we'll just do -1, 1. And let's go ahead and hook this up and get this working. So definitely these first videos as I get in and test out new equipment is very much going to be working out the kinks and the bugs. You know, it's one of the reasons I didn't try to button these up and make them 100% finished is need to know what they're going to be like. And so this is how we're doing it. Let's go ahead and hook to the bucket. All right, now let's go ahead and try to test the limitations of our arms. Definitely still a lot of painting stuff to do on this, paneling and everything else. But, you know, as I've said before, getting this functional first is the thing you really want to do. Let me see. So something's not connected. All right, so seat's going up. Is that the seat? That is the seat. Oh, okay. So the seat here, I forgot to configure the seat. So up, down needs to be reset 100%. That's going to be arms. Okay. And then 3 is going to be bucket. It's going to be reset 100%. So that's going to make that work with the thresholds. Let's spawn it now. And we should get some movement now. So we're going to test both the rate at how fast something moves. We're going to test the extremes of it. Okay, nothing yet. Okay, I forgot to turn on my power, so that will do it. And there we go. So let's go ahead and go up. Speed's not bad, a little bit slow maybe. Let's go all the way up on the arms. So I want to figure out how far up I can go on my arms before I run into problems. Okay, so we can go all the way up with the arms. And we should probably be able to go all the way. Actually, we can't go all the way down with the arms. The pistons do, they actually start overly compressed, and we get a small shudder. It's not causing us really any problems, but you'll notice as we get to about there, the pistons, see how the piston's crushing? So I'm going to set it to about there. That's where the piston's not crushing, so let's go out and look at it. All right, and why is tooltips not working? 0.016. Okay, so 0.016. All right, so the speed was good. So let's see, arms. So max is going to be 0.016. And then -1 was fine. So let's update that. Let's spawn it and check it. So hopefully this, as you can see, now the arms are up off the ground a little bit. And it's no longer crushing my pistons. A little bit, but not bad. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and check the bucket, and we'll check the limits of the bucket. So I already did one of the limitations. I can do the other one. So let's go ahead, power on. Don't need the generator on, but okay, so I did the arms backwards. That would be why I'm having arm problems. So that should be, arm should be a maximum of 1. And then it should be that. So let's update that. That would be why it didn't do it. So now it should be setting the, so that it automatically starts a little bit higher, as you can see. Getting a little phantom physics probably because of that piston wobble. All right, let's bring the arms up and let's go ahead and test. So arms are coming up, and then we'll test the bucket extremes. So kind of want to get out of building, kind of want to do some stuff in Industrial Frontiers here, but need our stuff to function before we can do that. All right, so that works. Arms are working well. Speed's not bad, a little bit slow. I might speed it up a hair. I might double that speed. Bucket definitely should be faster, so let's triple the bucket, double the arms. And so I'm going to check the extremes, make sure I don't have any physics problems. Okay, so that's good. And then a little bit of a hang up there, but it doesn't seem to be freaking out. Definitely, I think it was those arms interacting with the those blocks that I deleted out. Once I deleted those out, I think this is... You can see now the bucket can actually go in there, and they actually get that IRL. You get accommodations in there, so that seems to be set well. So let's go ahead and do one last thing, and let's revamp our speed. So I want the arms to be doubled, so we'll make that a 2, and I want this to be the bucket to be tripled. We'll make that a 3. Let's go ahead and jump back in. Let's test the speed, and then I think this will be good to go again. Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll just, I need to put the power on. All right. Okay, that's good. Arm speed and a pretty good bucket speed there. Yep, that's pretty good. I like that. I don't want it too fast. It shakes the cab, cause some issues. So that's good. I like that. Not having any physics issues here at the moment. So that's really good. So let's go ahead and remember to let me just do one thing of painting really quick. And we'll go to black here, and we'll just paint that. So as I see things, I'm going to paint them. I'm not going to go overboard with fix and paint stuff. I think that's best done later and off screen. So that's good. This controller can be hidden, so we'll cut that and move that. All right. And to finish up the episode, I'll transpose this stuff off screen, so you don't have to watch me just driving around. See, where am I in this? Okay, this can go anywhere. This area, you can't open this and look in here anyway, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier for me to hide stuff because I don't really have to worry about them being visible. All right, good. So that's in there. So let's go ahead and save this. All right, now I'll show you my I-beam trailer. We'll do a little work on that really quick. And so what I'll do here is I'll just show it to you. Won't get too far into it, but this is the I-beam trailer, and so essentially what it is it's the low loader, but it just has a beam in the center. You see there's a bunch of grippers on there, and what they'll do is with each vehicle here, if you look at the bottom of the loader, there are some track segments. We have track segments there, and we have track segments in the back, and those will attach to that. And then I also have it on the excavator. I also have some track segments on there, as you can see here and there. That will attach to the beam. Their standard width. Also my mining truck, which I'll put in and take a pic. I haven't got a pic of this yet. So this is going to be my my standard mining truck for these operations here. And so this, as you can see, it also has those there. So that allows me to hook to the I-beam. So I really needed that I-beam for this truck. This truck is very long. And so that allows me to transpose this. So at some point, this will be transposed up there and be our tool. I've also thought about with the new chunks and how they're working to make a scraper that would have drills and let me see if I can find a picture of a scraper. Yeah, let me look up a scraper construction vehicle. This way you can kind of see what a scraper looks like if you don't know. And I think that'll be kind of cool. Something to build. I think what I'm going to do is instead of building, I'll still do some building with these career build series videos, but I want to kind of keep these more to gameplay and a little bit of tweaking and building. And I think I'll do a lot of more building in live streams. So as you can see with the scraper, it's kind of cool. You have the articulated cab out here, and then you have the scraper body. And what happens is this door opens up, this lowers down, and it scrapes generally dirt, and then it will dump it out as you're going, so you can kind of move large quantities of dirt. There are a bunch of different designs here. You see there's one in operation scraping. And so kind of my thought was, there's one with the scraper lowered. So essentially what you would do is you put a couple drills in here, you'd open the door, they would drill along the ground, fill the hopper, and then have some method of dumping it. So just refining my builds to actually work with the new content. So let's go ahead and call this back into the workbench. So kind of had some failures here with mining, but I expected that. I expected that. Of course, my designs weren't going to work right off the bat. So let's go ahead and do a mission here. I kind of want to break up the gameplay. So we have a lighthouse on fire. Let's go do that. Raptor lighthouse. So let's go ahead and grab Katie, I think. We'll get the did in there. And this will give us a good chance to kind of go fly around the new area and see some of this new area. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to jump into a chair. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up and up power. Where are we at? Master power there. Let's go ahead and open this up and raise that up. Alright, and so let's take off, and that will fix itself once we get in the air. Okay, we have low fuel, so I forgot that they changed the way this system works. That was something they did on this. We're going to have to refuel this, so let's go ahead and figure this out. So, some people are noticing. You see it says jet storage. Jet storage. This one's jet A1, this one's diesel. That will probably get fixed pretty quick. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's see, what is that? I don't know what the arrows are all about. Let's do pump out, pumping out. Let's go ahead and hook up to Katie and fuel. Let's check the fuel. So Katie does use diesel, so I need to make sure I'm dieseling this up. And fuel is going up. So that alarm we were hearing, that was a low fuel alarm. So we're filling up with diesel here. Where is it? Diesel, diesel, diesel. Okay, so we're full. Let's go ahead and grab the hose off, and let's go ahead and go do this mission. So I just want to make sure I have a fire extinguisher as well, and we'll go ahead and shut that off. All right, let's go ahead and shut this door here. I will jump in. Let's go ahead and start up. Okay, so now our alarm's not going off because we do not have. We have plenty of fuel. Let's set the waypoint right there, and let me just double check I have fire extinguisher. Okay, so we're all set. So let's go ahead, let's take the did out. Green light means go. Let's get up there. And so I kind of like to break this up. I'm not going to do, I'm not going to do exclusively mining. That's something that I really want to get into mining, but I also want to really vary my gameplay. That keeps it more fun for me, and I think it's better for you guys as well to kind of see some different gameplay as well. So that is in there, the waypoint. Let's go ahead and put that in. Let's go ahead and we'll go heading bearing. That's going to turn us to the bearing. We want to do altitude hold. New system. Again, I've showed this off before, but it's still pretty new to me. I haven't played with it that much, so it will take me a little while to get used to it. So nice varied gameplay here, I think. Get a little bit of mining in, get a little bit of this in. I will also go on the bug tracker, and with this video, if I can remember, I will. I'm having an issue with my altitude hold. I need to fix that. I don't know why it does the things that it does, so that needs to be fixed. I think it's probably just a p-value issue. I'm going to go ahead and just cut the fog down a little bit there. A little bit of excessive haze there. You guys just can't see anything that's going on. So definitely going to be doing a bunch of testing with this mining and getting that in order. That's a big part of the gameplay that I want to get into, but it's going to take some testing. It's any new feature is going to take some testing, and as I get some testing out, I'll start doing some tutorials. So I'll put on my list that I'm still having altitude problems with Katie. I need to fix that. Altimeter is not holding the altitude that I want, so even with altitude hold and a number in there, I'm not getting it, so have to figure that out. So we are currently 5 nautical miles, and we'll be there in 2 minutes. So, a lot of people are saying this is just a huge area, and I understand that, but as you can see, we're here, and we'll be there in 2 minutes. So, vast areas, a lot of driving, a lot of trains. As much as I can understand why some people aren't thrilled with long travel distances, it really kind of gives you some stakes, and it gives you some reasons to build better vehicles, frankly. You know, me driving that front end loader up there took a while. So it definitely says, hey, you know what? It's going to be better to have a truck and a low loader. And, you know, if you don't want to build it, you can get them off the workshop. You know, my low loader is not released yet. I'll try to get that buttoned up and released. Again, I'm still in the testing phase, so as I test with it more, I'll see what it needs. But the Mac Pinnacle's in the workshop, and I'll eventually, hopefully soon, release that low loader, and you'll see that. And then if you want to use those to transport your builds, that's what this is really good for. And so I like the new increased distances. It gives me a reason to actually have to spawn a truck and a trailer. And if you don't want those distances, you can go up to the north, you know, the Sawyer Islands. And the distances are pretty short there for things like coal and moving it to the train. So it's kind of nice to be able to, you know, if you want a shorter distances, you can operate up at Sawyer. If you want some longer distances, you can operate down here at the Industrial Frontier Island, the Arid Island, the Sid Meier Island, whatever, however you want to reference this. Let me see. Okay, so we're close here. Do I have trims in? I do not. So there is the new beginner base. Somebody had mentioned on one of my videos that, you know, the hospital's right there by beginner base. I don't know what exactly they were talking about, but, you know, this is a short distance here. The issue is you can't really spawn a land vehicle, so that's kind of a problem. You know, if you really want kind of an easier gameplay, I would say start at the Sawyer base to start with anyway. That's going to help you get there. You know, that'll help you get started. You know, again, if you watch my career build series, 7, wow. If you watch my career build series, one of the reasons we have 7 is because I copied over my header from my save file, so I'm still at the difficulty setting that I was at before. So if you want more difficult missions, you can also go in your XML and change that. So I'm trying to find a good place to land here. I'm kind of going to cheat and go in third person. I'm kind of find something flat. This should be fine. Go ahead and put down. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll shut the motor down. We can leave master power on. We have plenty of power. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and jump in the back here, grab the Fire X. We'll shut this door as well. Let me grab the Fire X and head out and put this fire out. We have 7 people to rescue. So you can see a fire in there. This is the Raptor Lighthouse. Wowza. This is quite the fire. And I'm going to get hurt here probably. Nope, I actually did alright not getting hurt. So it'll look worse than it is. I think this fire should go up pretty easily. Famous last words, I know. Okay, there we go. Alright, so there's $3 in the pocket. Oh, hello everyone. Instead of escaping, you decided you just hide in here. See, are you in? What else is in there? Just kind of looking around. I want to find all these people. So 1, 2. So there's 7, 3, 4, 5. So we're still missing 2. I would assume they're in those rooms. Let's try to get these people out. 3 of them decided that they were going to be my buddies, my pals, my friends, and to follow me. And the other people chose to be difficult today. So I will heal this. Let me grab a first aid kit. Let me heal this John up. Let me put this guy back in there, Sleeveless Joe. You need any there, Dr. Eyepatch? No? Okay. Let's go in and try to fetch the last people. Are you in there? There you are. There you are. Alright. Peekaboo. Hiding in the bathroom. Brave, sir. Very brave of you. Dr. Mustache is here. Let's go get these 2 out. So this is 5, and then 2 more to go after this. So you can turn the difficulty of missions up. What? Okay, where are you guys? Yep, you guys chose to be difficult today too, huh? I'm gonna pick you up. If you can act like a child, I'm gonna treat you like a child. So let's go and seat that one. Personal space, sir. A little bit of personal space. I appreciate. Get in there. All right, let's put you in the seat. All right, let's go get your last couple of compatriots who are not wanting to follow me as well. So should need 2 more. And this is a good little payday. You know, that's 14,000 in people. Probably be a little less because, you know, they inevitably have a little bit of health loss on them, and then I lose a little bit of money, dinero, for that. All right, we got Soul Patch here. Come on, Soul Patch. Still following me there, Soul Patch? Okay, ha! I missed the jump. Ha, there we go. Let's put you in here, and then Dr. Soul Patch here is going to have to, I have to find a empty floor space here to drop Soul Patch. I can't, let me see if I can get this guy. Let's go ahead and pick up, I have character on me. Can I drop you, sir? Are you on me? Let me look. Yes. I'm trying to drop them, but I need to find a free spot here. There we go. Okay. And you can just ride dirty and stand up there, sir. Let's go ahead and... Oh, I left my access port open. My access hatch open. Let's close that. Let's go ahead and shut our door. Let's get fired up. Let's get out of here. So, nice to do a mission. Been doing a lot of building lately, so mission is kind of nice to do. We'll go to St. Alexander Hospital, and we'll finish up there. Waiting for green. Green is go. Go ahead and enter in our waypoint. Should be easy to find, but stick in the new waypoint. 155 heading. I'm not going to autopilot it. I'll just hand fly us there. I have too many tools on me. There we go. 155. Let's start cranking around. Let's get going here. So I'm enjoying the new biome as well. This is fun. I like the new animals. I haven't really interacted with them much yet. It'd be interesting to do. I really would rather not have to shoot wolves all the time, so I have to be careful. What is that? That's some sort of dog, perhaps? Looks like, is that a pony or a dog? Or a goat? I have a lot of options here. Let's see. That's a horsey. So we have a horsey there. That's nice to see. A nice helipad here. Bring us right into the hospital. So this is a good little bit of money. Mining's going to take some figuring out, and I'm happy with that. You know, it's complexity. You know, I think complexity leads to longevity. I think if a game mechanic is too easy, too oversimplified, it turns into a boredom fest, I think. And so I like that I'm going to have to come up with some engineering solutions to some of our problems here. I'm going to have to learn how to, you know, turn the ore into ingots, learn all the selling locations. So it's going to be a learning experience, and that's what I'm looking for in game. Is I want to have a good reason to do things, and I want to have plenty of replayability. I want to be able to have to kind of organize my gameplay sessions, and I want to have to be able to utilize a bunch of different vehicles. For me, vehicle operation and building is the main thing. So, you know, luckily I have a lot of vehicles already built. But you know, if you need some vehicles, you know, you can always go in the workshop and grab them. But it's nice that I have to trailer things now. It's nice that I have to use multiple vehicles, or want to use multiple vehicles to do some mining. Of course, I could build a you know, jack of all trades, master of none vehicle, but I much prefer a kind of a more realistic system of you build the vehicle for a specific job, and you have a couple vehicles doing a couple specific jobs. So Senior Eye Patch here is on the way as well. So let's go ahead and let's take a photograph there. So liking the new biome though. This is really cool. I have not had any overheating issues. A lot of people were kind of worried about that. You know, I did the live stream on Thursday, October 13th, the day this came out, with Endo and crew. And we flew around in KD all over the arid island for a considerable amount of time. I think it was like 40 minutes us flying around. And Katydid never went over 66 degrees. And Katydid does not have an overly extensive cooling system. It's a pretty basic cooling system. And I had no problem keeping Katy cool. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, you know, for cooling. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed that. It was nice to get a little mining in. It was nice to get a little bit of a mission in. It was also nice to find out the limitations of our vehicles. As frustrating as that can be, as frustrating as I could see people getting or potentially getting in with, having the bucket of the loader glitching, that was my fault. I built the bucket so that it had two collisions overlapping, and that is not a game problem, that is a me problem. And so learning what the issue was, I've already solved it. And so that's kind of the engineering element of the game that I really enjoy is you have a problem, solve it. And so another way to cut down on your frustration is by having that creative menu on. Because I had the creative menu on, you saw how I quickly could recall that vehicle back into the workbench. If I didn't have that on, I would have had to, okay, I need to try to drag this glitching vehicle back to the workbench. Frustration, shut the game off. And instead, all I did was with one click, recall to workbench, fixed it. I do have to drive it back up there now, but I will trailer it up. I'll do all that on my, off screen. I'll trailer up the, definitely the front end loader. I may show you guys the I-beam trailer of me trailering up the mining dump truck. And so that's probably what we'll do next episode is I'll move the front end loader back up there, and we'll move the mining dump truck up there. And so you kind of, you didn't get a chance to see me use the low loader, and then you will. So I will see you guys in the next one.